Same.
Very first one.
It is not sending us live. Why? There we go. Finally. Great job, YouTube. All right. We are now live.
Okay. Splice,
Mm-hmm.
I have a video.
All right. Well, you can still put it in the watch together thing.
Oh, do we have a watch together link?
It's the same one as always. I don't ever change it.
I don't know where it is though. It's moved up in the.
Do a search for has link, I guess. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything set up. There we go. Okay. Everything's now working. Okay. Perfect. Okay. This is going to be a fairly quick intro, so you guys won't have to waste much time. You guys ready?
Do it.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Excellent. All right. Here we go. So, in the years before the internet became a mainstream thing, for us to hear about video games, we heard about them mostly through three different sources. One, our friends. Two, whatever we saw like at Blockbuster or Toys R Us or something like that. Three, commercials. And then the fourth that I didn't mention because I said three to start, but don't worry about it. The magazine covers.
Great.
I didn't have a subscription to any of the magazines. So I mostly just saw the covers at the local Kroger my mom would always take me to. So that's where I would get excited by Nintendo Power. But are you guys aware of Nintendo's magazine before Nintendo Power?
I have heard of it. It's not coming to mind.
Nintendo
All right.
Water?
No. So throwing it up right now up on YouTube. The Nintendo Fun Club News. What we're looking at is issue number 3. This was put out apparently by the Nintendo Fun Club, which I only knew of due to a certain video game. Oh wait, wrong direction. We're doing great. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Or that was one of the things Doc Lewis would say. Join the Nintendo Fun Club today. Which I never.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I didn't realize till I did research for this that was a real thing.
You're unlocking memories.
Well, that's kind of the point of today. This is what predated.
Going through a museum.
Oh yeah, like seriously, I wasted so much time today going through those retro mag covers. But no, so
I found my own stack of old Nintendo Powers on my bookshelf. It's not all of them, but my mom sent a bunch of them out a few years back that I still have.
That's a good thing you do. Now, Baggins, you sent me a commercial, I believe.
This is either going to send you way back or going to put.
Okay, give me a second. No, go away. Oh, dang it. I closed that. Here we are. All right, here we go. What? I need to pause.
No way.
Why did he eat the magazine?
Because he needed to
worry
get the
about it.
power.
I'm concerned. Oh, he's a real gamer. He's played with the pad.
Nintendo Power 12 times a year. 6 great issues plus 6 free strategy guides on a hot new game. That's twice the power for still $15. Wow, call now.
I'm sorry, Buff Mario what?
Buff Mario in the TV.
Baggins, I need you to send me that link just to my Discord. I got to use that as an alert. I don't know what, but Buff Mario busting out of the TV like this right here. This is incredible. Oh wow!
Do any of y'all remember that?
Yes.
I do not.
Yes, I do. My gosh, you did blow my mind.
Splice, do you remember? I was when you were putting this together, I was trying to remember it, like that they had a catchphrase. That was it. Get the power.
Get the power.
Like
Okay.
even the ditty, I remember now. Get the
Uh-huh.
power.
Man, I don't remember that commercial at all.
I don't know. I do. I remember.
I'm a
it
couple
wild.
years older than y'all, and I was deep into the Saturday morning cartoons. So
Yeah, for some reason. I definitely don't remember Buff Mario busting out of the television
I
set.
don't remember the exact details, but I remember the tune and kind of the look.
again, it was one of those memories unlocking. Just like, oh gosh.
Yeah,
Take
that
me
was
back.
like in my back file cabinet somewhere, and I just opened it.
All right. Well, okay. So speaking of Nintendo Power, I have a couple of Nintendo Power covers that I want us to discuss. And by couple, I mean a lot. Here's the first one, of course, with the
Classic.
yeah, they had this
That's the original.
yeah, they had this clay thing that they were doing early on.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first one was Mario 2 Zelda Second Quest, which I think means they hadn't named Legend of Zelda 2 yet.
Unnamed Zelda game.
Well,
No,
the thing
no. That's the Master Quest, I think.
Except
When
that
you put in Zelda as your name.
yes, that's true, but I don't think that's what this is referring
No,
to.
because this is an in-depth review.
Like,
And so I think it's
what you're
just
saying is accurate and true, but I don't think that that's what the magazine was referring to.
You don't think so? You think it's referring to Zelda 2?
I think it is for Zelda 2: Link's Adventure.
I also
Or
want to
Adventure Link.
point out here, the copy that we have here, someone wrote on it Volume 1 and circled it, which just ruins the resale value. And apparently you could buy it for $3.50.
Yes, you could.
But yeah, so
It
that was
a
the
different
first.
time, my friend.
So that was the first one I wanted you guys. You know, this clay look, it's kind of weird. Mario's got, I don't know, he looks like he hungers for people's soul in this.
Well, it was Super Mario 2, which was already
Yeah.
kind of a weird game. So
Yeah, and Wart looks like he doesn't even want to be doing this.
Not to mention Mario's outfit is inverted.
right.
There's a lot going on here. This is
because of the degradation of the film, or
I don't know. This is the most important one for me. Cause this is when I became aware of Nintendo Power, because my cousin, he actually had Nintendo Power, and we were discussing when I was a small child how I couldn't get past the dam level in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he's like, "Oh, there's a map to it in my Nintendo
great,
Power."
Now we've got an explicit rating.
Yeah, I know.
which level? Which
The dam level. I beat the dam
Oh
level,
my gosh!
and I couldn't
The
beat it.
hydroelectric dam level, to be
Yes.
more precise.
No, and so I didn't, but they had a map in there to which I was like, and his mother was kind enough. She went back to her work where they had a Xerox machine because we didn't have a scanner. She Xeroxed me the map so I could take it home back to Texas so I could finally beat this stupid level.
Breaking copyright law at a young age.
But I do find it interesting that Ninja Gaiden Part 2 review plus Bayou Billy and Cobra Triangle.
Oh
I don't
my
even-
gosh, Bayou Billy.
What's Cobra Triangle?
I want to
These
say
are
it's
words. I
I
don't
want
know
to say
what they
Cobra
mean.
Triangle was a helicopter game. I could be remembering wrong, but that sounds. I don't know. Yeah.
Cobra is a helicopter, so I don't know.
All right. Do you guys feel this cover that I'm just going here? Do you feel this captures the feel of Mega Man 2?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
That's how I remember it.
I remember that one.
Yeah, with a creepy little man puppet too.
I mean, that's why I wanted to play Mega Man 2, I bet.
What I just love how mean they are. Dr. Wily launches lunatic plot. What is
It's like
it?
Statler went mad with power.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, I mean, I know that I must have read this issue because I mean, those are games that I bought. Mega Man 2, Dragon Warrior Fiery Fun. And if I'm not mistaken, Dragon Warrior was actually like a bonus game that you got for signing up for Nintendo Power.
Could be. I don't know.
I missed out on
Like
that
they
one.
Gave you a cartridge with the magazine?
That's what I think I remember. I
Oh.
could be wrong, but I thought that was kind of one of the things to get people to sign up for it.
All right. And how do you guys feel about the Mega Man 3 cover? I feel like Mega Man was drawn by Salvador Dali or something. He seems to be melting a little bit.
Well, at least it looks a little more like the actual game art this time.
Yeah, but
Let me just put it this way: it's better than the Mega Man 1 actual cover of the game.
Yes, the Mega Man bad box
that
art
is
Mega Man.
not a good bar to try and clear.
I'm just saying, it's Mega Man. We're comparing apples, like we're comparing Fuji's to Galos.
The other thing I just want to point out here is that I haven't heard what the monster features are at all. With Deja Vu and the Immortal, those games,
Immortal. Wow.
Oh yeah, Deja Vu. Yeah, I remember that game.
You sure you do remember that?
Nope, no member berries here.
Yeah, I don't.
remember.
Well, yeah, Deja Vu was a puzzle game like Shadowgate, except it was like done like 50s noir detective PI trying to figure out stuff.
Wow.
And
So
the
this is the
Immortal-
8-bit version of L.A. Noir.
Yes.
I was thinking of a strong bad game, but
I think the Immortal was another isometric,
egg?
sort of like Solstice.
Well, yeah, Immortal. Immortal's actually I played it because it was on the Switch NES Online, the Switch Online.
Oh, really?
what
yeah,
is
it's
it?
there, and I play a little bit, and it's kind of an isometric puzzle game. I didn't really care for it that much.
I
but-
remember that game because I don't remember what show it was. It wasn't Nick Arcade, but it was a show, and like the kids got to do this sort of shopping spree type. I don't know, like
They
activity
build,
function.
they build a grocery cart kind of thing?
Event type thing where they'd go and they'd like grab things, and the Immortal was always one of the games that was on the shelf for whatever reason. And I just remember seeing the cover and thinking, okay, that looks kind of cool. And I remember renting it and being just young enough that I didn't quite get it.
It's
so-
far more obtuse than Solstice was.
Yes,
Far more.
and Solstice was pretty obtuse.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have never heard of this.
Probably why it was still on the shelf.
Well, I hadn't heard of the Immortal until it showed up on the Switch Online, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll see what it's like.
I remember the Immortal from early gaming days.
So this is the first cover I think that I actually remember seeing.
I feel like this cover is like the Nintendo Power cover. Like if you're trying to think of what the atomic example of Nintendo Power, it's
I mean,
this.
plus it looks a lot like the cartridge art too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they stopped doing the weird clay stuff. But that said, the date on this volume.
I'm still worried
28.
about the way that Yoshi's looking at Mario. I feel like he's gonna.
I think he's
gonna
looking
eat
at the
it.
dolphins, maybe. But Final
No,
Fantasy
I think
Adventure.
he's getting revenge for all those times we jumped off of him.
Just
over
jumped
here.
off.
He doesn't know that's going to happen yet. Super Mario Maker hasn't been invented to create entire levels devoted around the destruction of Yoshi.
But hey, there was a special special exit that you had to do that on for Super Mario World.
I don't remember that. Maybe I
Like
just
one of
got
the
by it
level
with
exits-
flying.
One of the level exits you actually had to get Yoshi over there and jump off underneath the first exit, and then the exit was past it.
Oh, I think I must have done it with flying. That sounds like that probably would have been simpler. I tended to do things the hard way and then found out later that there was an easier way to do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is the first one that, and I just think of it is the example of what Nintendo Power is. Now, this one, they went back
And I definitely
to the
bought Final
claymation.
Fantasy Adventure from it.
They went back to the claymation, and Mario looks like he got caught doing something. Also, this is Mario Paint.
Yeah, he's doing graffiti.
Yeah. I don't know. He just looks guilty. I just can't believe Mario Paint got its own cover.
Mario Paint was actually, I think, the final point, the selling point that I used to finally convince my mom to let me get a Super Nintendo.
Wow.
Because it was creative.
I mean, the only thing I know it for are all the Mario Paint remixes of songs that people have done.
That's what I know it for.
What about the fly swatting game?
I don't really. I just know that that's an assist trophy.
Fly swatting game?
Dude, the fly swatting game was intense.
I just know it's an assist trophy in Smash Brothers. That's all I got.
Like a WarioWare thing to me, but
oh, I spent a lot of time on that fly swatting game.
That game, it sucked up a lot of my life, of my young life.
Yeah, I can't claim that. Here's Mickey's Magical Quest, and Mickey looks evil here.
Foretelling things to come.
He's got his angry eyes on.
Yeah, it's for. I wonder if in Japan he has happy eyes. I don't know. But also, apparently, we're getting a Mega Man Spectacular. I don't know what that involves, but we're getting one, and this is a bonus issue.
Oh, so it's
this
the 13th of the year.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember this. This is one of the ones that I saw and I thought, oh my goodness, that looks really cool. Because they went back to the claymation, and I thought because this was Stunt Race FX, and this is after Star Fox FX stuff. And so I thought the graphics would be like this.
What was it? I don't know this game.
Well, the graphics are like Star Fox because it was made with the same FX chip.
Yeah, but younger me thought, oh my goodness.
Fighter, you know.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. But no.
That's on one of my covers that I actually still have. It was Clay Fighter 63 and a third.
63 and a third. That's right. Oh my gosh.
Also, just to hear, CES report with Killer Instinct, which I believe, isn't that the precursor to E3?
What,
CES?
Yeah.
Consumer Electronics Show?
I think that was the
CES
precursor.
Is still around.
Yeah, that outlived E3.
Okay, cool. I thought it was the precursor for some reason. All right, cool. But yeah, report with Killer Instinct. So apparently Killer Instinct is doing some on-field reporting for them.
No, I think
the next Killer Instinct would be Church Educational System, but it's not that.
It could be possible that this is before E3 made video games separate from the rest of CES, because normally CES is like, NVIDIA, Intel, AMD.
All right, I decided to look for. Well, let's just see what volume 64 is, and it's haunting.
Yes, Scorpion.
This is by far the most intense cover I found for Nintendo Power. But yeah,
it had a sliding scale. It was
yeah,
very
Mom wouldn't let me
interesting.
get this magazine if this was the cover she saw.
Exactly.
Well,
let's
luckily for me, we had it ordered, so she didn't know what the cover was like before it showed up at our house.
This was the one that I remember blowing my mind when I saw it for the first time.
I remember seeing this one.
I think I had this one.
And
Killer Instinct is back.
It is. You could win a Killer Instinct arcade machine.
Of course, the one in my hand right now is Donkey Kong Country 3. But yeah,
I've got that one.
Yeah, it's a thing. And I don't know. I just seeing this and I was like, the graphics are like this, and then they actually were. It rocked my world. I couldn't believe it.
The winner when I was got one of the last copies from Blockbuster to rent. It's like, yes.
Oh yeah. Couldn't believe it at the time. And they weren't wrong with it. It's a whole new level of animation. All right. Here's this one that's an accurate advertisement for the Virtual Boy. You can literally see the eyes bleeding in the background.
I had this one.
The Virtual Boy. You had a Virtual Boy, you mean?
No, I had this cover.
The cover? Oh.
I had this issue.
I did have a friend who had a Virtual Boy.
Oh gosh.
The only time I played a Virtual Boy was in the arcade kiosk display that they had at Target, and I tried it once and I was like, wow, this is awful.
I remember being so hyped for this. And then
Blockbuster,
just...
they would have one too.
I just
Also,
remember
the thing that I always connect to this is Strong Bad and the your head explode.
yeah.
I remember tennis. That was the one that was always like available at the Blockbuster. They always had the tennis game.
No, but the eye is really struggling in the background. I just think very accurate advertising. We can't claim that they were
It was prophetic.
that they were trying to hide the ball on this one. Also, power preview. Yoshi's Island Super Mario World 2. I'm so glad we got a... What does this thing say over here? I don't know. Okay, never mind. Looks like some
set below the R.
Yeah. Anyway, here's the big one.
Oh, it's male.
When we got Super Mario 64, the 10-page exclusive. This is moving into the 64-bit era. And yeah.
That one looks different than I remember.
Same here.
There were two of them. One was a preview that was a little bit before. This was the one when it actually dropped.
Okay.
I don't remember this
because there's
cover,
one
though.
in my hand right now it's got Mario on the front and says 31 pages of Super Mario 64.
Yeah, and if you go through retro mags, you'll see it. It was like 2 or 3 issues before this one dropped. Just trying to get people hyped for the 64.
Looney, do you have the Happy New Year issue? It was a bonus issue from '96. And this is back when it was referred to as the NU64 because it was the Nintendo Ultra 64 at the time. And I got an issue. It was like a bonus one. It said Happy New Year, but it was spelled NU. And it's like previews of all the upcoming N64 games.
Wow,
and...
I could see why they dropped that.
Was that before the Mario 64 one that I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
If so, then maybe. Unfortunately, I don't have most of mine anymore.
That is a shame.
I got rid of a lot of them, and I shouldn't have.
Well, here was the Star Fox 64 one, where they're really pushing the 3D models that, you know, outside of the multiplayer we'll never see.
Oh, you see him in Smash Brothers.
Yes.
What are you talking about outside of the multiplayer? The multiplayer was amazing.
It was, but I was just saying it was the only time you really saw it.
Well, if you completed everything so you could be on foot.
Yeah. But
yeah,
the
I
other
talked about my horror story with that.
The other thing is just the other things that they're advertising on this one. Like this one, they have all sorts of stuff. Like Hexen.
The Rumble Pack here.
They have Blast Cores, Dark Rift, Get a Fighting Chance, International Superstar Soccer 64, and Shadows of the Empire codes.
Shadows of the Empire.
I forgot about that weird era.
Yep.
Where Lucas felt like he really needed to fill that gap between New Hope and Empire in the 90s, randomly.
Yeah, it was a portent. Now, here's one of the biggest ones as far as just the game itself. I don't think they understood how big it was going to be. Because
it's that damn level again.
It is the damn level again.
The thing is, GoldenEye had nothing to do with James Bond. The game.
Yeah.
Other than you know.
I mean, everyone who actually played it, we all know it was the multiplayer. That was the only reason you really. I mean, like you played the single player to unlock stuff. That's it.
Yep, to unlock stuff.
How else am I going to get DK mode?
And paintball.
Which just was, there was all sorts of wacky stuff in there. But everything was about slappers only on Temple.
I love the
slappers only was good.
And there's a special place in hell for people who play Odd Job.
And granted, my favorite was the grenade launchers. Mm-hmm.
Remote
Good
mines.
stuff. Remote mines were pretty
Remote
awesome
mines, and I wouldn't tell my brother.
It's
Pull
coming
them out
back.
quickly.
Here's the 100th cover, where apparently 100 best games of all time, 100 coolest codes ever, and GoldenEye exclusive 100 killer ambushes. I really want to know what that is.
100 killer amp. What is it?
I read this copy so many times and I remember nothing from it.
I don't know, because I stopped getting Nintendo Power once I got a PlayStation instead of a 64.
But yeah, I would love to see what they thought the
Yeah.
100 best games of all time were. Let's see.
I either had to betray Squaresoft or Nintendo, and I had to pick one.
Let's see if I can find their list of the Nintendo. Yes, I found it. Okay. If you guys had to guess, what at this point of Nintendo would they say are the best 100 games of all time? Just throw out some predictions here, and I'll let you.
Metroid, A Link to the
Super Mario
Past.
Brothers.
Okay,
Mario
okay,
Mario
slow
World.
down. Super Metroid number 6. All right,
Super Mario 3.
Super Mario 3 number 5. They
Super
have
Mario World.
trying to find where Super 14.
A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Number
Link to Past gotta be
2.
on there. Number 2. Oh, what was it? It's number
Was
1.
Ocarina
wonder.
of Time out at
Yeah,
this
I was going to
point?
say
It was
if
not.
Ocarina was
No
available, yeah.
Ocarina yet.
Okay.
That's the hard part, trying to remember what games had actually come out.
Chrono Trigger?
Yes,
what
number
did it put-
they
I
have that at 19.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Okay.
What about Final Fantasy 3? Where'd that end up?
Which one was Final Fantasy 3 in the States?
3.
3.
No, but
He's saying
I decided to be
6/3.
Thank you.
6,
okay. Yeah, sorry. Because they convert it in this list, and I'm trying to remember. They have that as number 8. And whichever one number 4 is number 9. So they had those
So,
back to
yeah.
back.
Okay,
Huh.
yeah. I was gonna ask 4 next in that case.
But yeah,
Street Fighter 2?
that's number 10. Good job.
Yeah, that has to be up there.
Is Lufia 2 in there by any chance?
Would
And
they
it
even
might
know?
Crack 100? I don't know.
Number 91.
Yeah,
wait,
that
Yeah.
probably
I still
buried it 'cause
prefer
it's
I still prefer
unpopular.
the first one. I am in the vast minority, but the first one won my heart at a very young age.
I finally got a copy of the first one, and it's plugged in my Retro Duo portable, and I just need to go through it.
So
Like,
I'm gonna go through the top 25 here.
Okay.
And you're going to see a real recency bias going on here. Number 25, Turok Dinosaur Hunter for the N64.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
absolutely.
Number 24, F-Zero for the SNES. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Okay, so we are in the N64 era. Was
Yeah.
the first one? Can I guess the first one?
Partially in.
Yes.
Was it Mario 64?
Yes, it is. That's rated number
Oh,
1.
Yes.
Mario
yeah,
64,
that-
of course.
And
of course.
Mario
That's
Kart
right.
64 is number 4 at this point.
Okay.
Which,
Right.
look,
I wonder where do they put the SNES one?
uh,
That has to be. That has to rate somewhere.
Just Super Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Mario Kart.
like the-
That's all the way down at 32.
Where'd they put Super Mario RPG?
Yeah.
21.
Rendered perspective graphics.
Yeah, no. See, that's you misunderstanding things again.
Yeah, that's my dad speaking.
Yeah, that's him misunderstanding. All right, so 25 was Turok, 24 F-Zero, 23 Donkey Kong Country 3,
Okay.
Wow.
which that's a very recent game at that point. You got to remember that's like
it would be.
There is absolute recency bias in this list.
yeah. 22 Castlevania, the original on the NES.
NES. Okay.
Oh, yeah, DKC 3, that was the cover of their volume 90, so it was only 10 volumes after that. So.
Yeah.
So it was earlier than-
21 Super Mario RPG, which that's another very recent game at that
Yeah, that would
point.
have been pretty recent. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
20
I mean, I
the
have the-
original Mega Man, which it's like, no, that's incorrect.
Wow, the original Mega Man?
Yes, it's
They
like
gotta
no
put 2 higher than that.
two,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, or 6. Mega Man, the original Mega Man is a great argue. Ooh, this would be a good topic. Games that never should have gotten sequels.
I actually saw a video about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was a picture. It was actually a picture of the first Mega Man, and it said this should not have gotten a sequel.
Yeah, because it's not a good game. It has an interesting core concept, but it's not a good game.
Oh no, it was very much a let's try this, and then the second one, let's actually make it good this time.
Yeah. 19 Chrono Trigger, 18
games are supposed to be fun.
18 Super Mario World 2, 17
With the
Tetris
crying baby.
yes, 17 Tetris Attack for the SNES.
What?
Oh yeah,
Tetris Attack.
definitely.
16 Super
Who
Mario
invited that
World.
kid?
Super Mario World is at 16. A game that some people
Wow.
hold up as maybe the best of all time. It's at number
Yeah.
16.
Ooh.
Wow.
That only
Okay.
hurts a little more because number 15 is Wave Race 64.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Wave
Wait,
Race.
I loved that game.
Yeah. mhm.
It had water physics. Do you know how much that blew people's minds back in
It
1996?
doesn't deserve that spot on the list, but I
Uh,
played the crap out
dude,
of Wave
that
Race
is
64.
Dude, my
Super
friends
recency
were
bias there.
big into Wave Race 64.
No,
They had me over all the time.
Wave
to
Race
play it
was
with
fun.
them.
It was a fun game, and again, it had water physics, which melted people's minds back in the day.
Well, it
And-
also had stunts like as a precursor to Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Well, that and just like I said, 10
jeez.
volumes before this, that was the poster that they put in the middle of the magazine because they put a poster in the middle of every magazine.
Well, it was one of the launch titles.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of the Star Wars games one of the launch titles too?
Shadows of the Empire.
Yep.
Okay. I couldn't remember if I made that up in my head or not.
Oh, the N64 launch was Shadows?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, Lucas.
All right. So ahead of Wave Race, Mario Bros. 13, again, the recency bias, Star Fox 64.
And Mario Bros. Good.
And they didn't
Okay,
know
no.
it was going to be all downhill from there for Star
Star
Fox.
Fox 64 was an
Dude, Star
amazing
Fox
game, though.
64 was awesome though.
That one
Yes.
still holds up.
That
Come on,
one's
Star
great.
Fox Adventures was something.
It was.
That is definitely a game that got me.
It was a game that existed.
Number 12, Link's Awakening for the Game Boy.
Okay.
Number
That's a good
11,
one.
just The Legend of Zelda for the NES. Very defensible.
Okay.
10,
Okay.
Street Fighter. 9, Final Fantasy 4. 8, Final Fantasy 6. Number
The fact that
7,
those beat a lot of those other Nintendo published ones. That's,
this
that's
time,
pretty amazing.
I
actually.
remember at this time a lot of the people at Nintendo Power were RPG fans.
yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, Nintendo Power, they had the whole Epic Center, which is like the first thing I opened to.
Mhm.
And they made it easy to open to because it was always attached to the folder right next to it.
No, I
They
remember
were pushing RPGs hardcore, and I bit hook, line, and sinker, man.
Yeah, I remember the Final Fantasy II cover because that was another of their early ones.
Ooh, nice.
All right. Number 7, appropriately, GoldenEye 007.
Nice.
Number 6, Super Metroid. Number 5, Super Mario Bros. 3. Number 4, Mario Kart. The only thing you guys are missing, because number 2 was Link to the Past. Number 1, Super Mario 64. You're only missing number 3. And here's the hint. It was up to this point, and it may still be the case. I have to double check. The highest selling game in Nintendo history.
Tetris?
Tetris
Super
for the
Mario
Game
Brothers.
Boy.
Tetris, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. That's a classic that'll never die. It's just a timeless game.
So, was this before Pokemon?
Yes. And it's
Oh,
funny you
man.
should mention that because Pokemon doesn't come to the States till 98.
Mhm. I remember I
Man,
was in high
how
school.
late it was?
Yeah,
Wow.
it came pretty late.
However, actually, looking at the one that I have here, it was volume 84. Actually, had the first look of Pokemon that just came out in Japan, where it said they didn't even call it Pokemon. It was teased
Pocket
as
Monsters?
Pocket Monsters.
Yep.
It's in this
Nice.
Epic Center right here, which, by the way, was attached with the Super Mario RPG poster and baseball card styled for the characters of Super Mario RPG.
Hmm.
But yeah, pocket monsters. So that's when I first learned about Pokemon. Also, right after Pokemon, it says super developers wanted in Japan for Super Mario RPG 2.
Oh.
What could have been?
Well, I think it did eventually turn into
It turned
gonna
into
ask, like,
Paper Mario.
Well, it
like,
kind of
there's a
split into
story.
Paper Mario and into Mario and Luigi.
Superstars, the Game Boy.
Yeah, Superstar
one?
Saga. Superstar Saga.
So this is the Banjo-Kazooie cover. I got it just because I'm a total Banjo-Kazooie fanboy, but I mostly got it because this is a very loud cover that has a lot on it. One, I think this is the
This was the golden era of Rare, by the way.
Yeah.
This
Mm-hmm.
E3, the
mid-90s.
next wave
Oh,
of
yeah.
games.
Wow.
I think this is the first time they reference E3. Game Boy Camera, Funtography Studio.
And that had the
Camera.
weird little receipt printer thing
Yeah.
Dude,
that would print your pictures.
my friend had one of those, and we
a
did play with it.
120p camera.
Actually, I think I have one because I think Lizzie had one, and I have it now.
Oh, wow.
I'm now thinking of that crazy picture with all the accessories attached to the Game Boy.
Oh, and the commercial for the Game Boy camera was even weirder than the thing itself.
What would you use it for besides like making a picture of yourself? Like
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, yeah, like it's not like it could do like video chat, right? Like
No,
No.
it was still pictures.
It just printed stickers, basically.
It was a gimmick.
Here's the other thing. So I'm very confused by this because N64 reviews for World Cup 98 and All-Star Baseball 99, which I'm like, those should be the same year, shouldn't they? And whatever BioFreaks is.
BioFreaks?
That name is so familiar.
It sounds like a fighting game.
Yeah, it sounds like a fighting game. No clue
No,
if that's
no,
what it
no.
is.
I don't think it's a fighting game. I think it was like a platformer or
Yeah, I don't know. But here's the big one. The one that
Wikipedia, it's a 3D fighting game.
it was a fighting game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
this
yeah, I do
simple
remember this.
cover, the biggest issue ever, the Ocarina of Time cover.
Oot.
I remember this
Nice.
cover, and it was just this simple cover. And
Notice no exploding words. It's just Zelda. We know what you're here for.
Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of
Great
Time.
art. Great art.
Yeah, it's just, I love the simplicity of this one.
No, I remember as soon as I played Mario 64, my first thought was, I want to play a Zelda game on this thing. And so we were waiting for it, and we waited a while before we got Zelda 64. But man,
It's satisfied.
yeah.
Are you guys ready for the opposite of this cover?
Oh boy.
Let's go.
Are you guys ready for Beetle Adventure Racing?
I'm sorry. What?
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
The headlights actually look like kind of manic eyes.
Yeah. But do you notice the thing that I'm really more focused on for this?
The
Is
tiny
it the
little
pirate
feature-
ship or
Yeah.
the T-Rex?
No.
It's a T-Rex coming out of the volcano.
The bottom right.
No, the tiny feature for
Super
Super
Smash.
Smash.
They
Like,
had
that's-
no
that's a niche
clue
game.
that this was going to become the centerpiece of their entire freaking lineup.
It's secondary to the Beetle.
to Beetle
I do
Adventure
like that they,
Racing.
like even went to like cartoonish art for it. You know, it's just like, oh, it's like a silly little like. We
Well,
don't really care
that
about
was the
games.
official art for the 64 version.
Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
was kind of cartoony. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was weird, but I don't know. Also, Bug's Life and Revolt.
Also, Fox looks like a chihuahua.
Yeah, it's there's some
Yeah.
they were going through a phase. And here's the very first cover that ever has Pokemon on it. Pokemon frickin' Snap.
You mean they didn't have anything for red and blue? They started
No.
with a snap.
Well, because the thing is, red and blue got released here to very little fanfare.
Well,
I mean, me and my friends went and got it, but
yeah, I don't know. Like
The show
It
is
was-
what launched.
Yeah, the show
Pokemon
is
and
what
the
launched
show.
it.
yeah.
And so it came in after
the thing
fact.
is, if I'm perfectly honest, like those of us that bought the original game, once people were into the show and the cards, it wasn't the same group of people. It's kind of like people that played Minecraft when it was still an alpha versus once it became mainstream. It was very different.
I can't look at my kids the same. I'll be honest. So like, oh man, you guys don't even know.
Well,
We're
yeah,
playing
I mean,
Alpha
it's like
0.5.
Minecraft. Something like, wait, little kids play Minecraft? What are you talking about? That's like a college kid game.
I love telling people the on my stream, they're just like, yeah, I've been playing Minecraft since I was a kid, and I'm like, please, I played Minecraft before there was falling damage. And they're just like, what?
Yep.
And I'm like, there was no damage whatsoever. So we would build things and just jump off of them and have no care. And when they installed damage, we would just die all the time because we'd forget that you can't just jump wherever you want anymore.
The only thing that was scary in Minecraft was the creeper, and it wasn't because it'd kill you.
It's because you
it
can't
would
kill
break
it.
what you've been
Kill your
building.
stuff.
Yeah.
Kill your-
Well, I mean,
And
when
you
I
couldn't
first
kill
started
it.
playing, there was no damage.
Yeah.
Not even just fall damage, no
Right.
damage. You
Right.
couldn't die.
But neither could the enemies. And so the creeper comes along, and you can't kill the creeper. And all that can happen is he's going to go boom.
All right. So here's a slightly cooler Pokemon cover for Pokemon Stadium, which was way epic compared to the actual game. Not
The
a
game was such a letdown. I'm just saying
Well,
it right
it's
now.
because it was
Like-
the great graphics, but you didn't get the actual Pokemon story.
that said,
like
that
like,
said,
I have to hook up with this weird Game Boy.
Yeah.
so
doohickey
here's the
and-
thing that's interesting though. There's an entire generation of people who are discovering Pokemon Stadium and all the animations that they had for attacks and stuff compared to now, and they're just going, "Wait, how did we go backwards?"
Well, I mean, Pokemon Stadiums is a much sought after game now. It is not cheap to find, like to buy now. Like it's worth a ton.
Yeah, Pokemon fans are they're rediscovering Pokemon Stadium and seeing the battle animations for it, because like Magneton for like Hyper Beam, the three like pieces of it would get in a line to shoot it, and now it's just like and it just sort of gestures forward a little bit.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, they put in more. I mean, granted, there was less Pokemon they had to animate,
Yeah, but
they have-
but still, they
still
did put in
catalog.
way more effort with each individual Pokemon for Stadium.
I can't help but
This is the
feel
game
that
we were waiting for.
yeah, I still can't help but feel that they could do better nowadays.
well,
now-
the game I was waiting for is at the top of this issue. Perfectly honest.
Yeah, Perfect Dark, holy crap, that
That
was awesome.
That more than GoldenEye was.
Wasn't that the spiritual successor to GoldenEye?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
GoldenEye
yes.
too.
It was-
It was GoldenEye, the better multiplayer.
Yeah, with
Oh,
all the
dude.
versions of The Sims. Freaking
Dual
Dark
Maulers.
Sims, man.
Hmm.
Oh, Dual Ballers. Oh.
Oh gosh, the Dark Sims, dude.
Oh, with the shields?
Yep.
with shield, that would teleport behind you.
Oh,
Yep.
Like
man, they
you're
stink so
watching
bad.
them on your radar, and then all of a sudden their dot would
all-
disappear, and then you're being shot from behind.
Freaking Dark Sims, man. Also, I just want to point out in-depth strategies for Hydro Thunder, South Park Rally, whatever Nuclear Strike 64 is.
I know Nuclear Strike 64. It's a helicopter game.
Oh,
Hydro Thunder. That
Yeah.
sounds so familiar.
so
Actually,
it's
based
an
on the
arcade
Jungle
game.
Strike series.
It was
What's
like
that?
those. It was the Boat Racer.
It was another one of those. Okay.
And it had like my favorite level was Lake Powell, because the end of the level you go flying off the dam. Why are dams coming up so much? And
Oh, man,
you
I
could,
don't know. Something
and then
Something in
Tomb
the
Raider
water.
for Game Boy Color.
Wait, what? There was
Look
a
at-
port for that?
What?
Look!
I see it. I see it.
I'm not
Hey.
making this up.
What did that look like?
I don't know.
Splice, get us a picture.
I'm doing other stuff. Okay.
It came out in the year 2000.
Tomb Raider for Game
I mean,
Boy
it can't have
Color.
looked very like. I don't think it was 3D.
Let's see.
It was the very first time it was on a Nintendo platform.
It was definitely. Oh my. Okay.
It had 2 sequels: Curse
What?
of the Sword and The
What?
Prophecy.
On the Game Boy?
Yes.
That's incredible. That like that. Wow.
Okay, I found.
I didn't know that one. Goodness.
Just one
Incredible
sec.
that,
I
like,
found
I
one.
was gonna say Game
Wow.
Boy. That system had legs.
Okay, I found.
I didn't know
That-
that.
Oh,
I mean,
shut up,
that
me.
Originally came out
Just
in
one
the
sec. I
80s.
found.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they were still going strong by the late 90s.
I think that's still the longest, longest life any console has had is the Game
Yeah.
Boy.
Any single console.
Which is funny because technology-wise, it was not,
no.
state of the art. I mean, goodness, the Game Gear, which came out around the same time, was far superior. Other than the fact that no one liked it because it just
It
Eight
gobbled
batteries.
batteries.
ate batteries so
There's
fast. that
your
it was
there's your
impractical.
graphics, boys.
Oh my
What?
gosh!
It's Prince of Persia.
Oh my
It's
goodness, it
hideous.
is totally.
It's Pixel of Persia.
It's hideous.
Wow.
Hey, it got 2 sequels.
You know, there's no accounting for taste.
No, there's not. Okay, this next one I think may be the coolest cover. Majora's Mask. It's again very simple, the way they did Ocarina of Time, but just the cover is so
Nice.
cool looking.
It's a good cover.
And Nintendo's new hardware unveiled. I don't know what that would be.
Dolphin?
No, it's probably the
GameCube?
memory pack.
Well, you needed the memory pack for Majora's,
Mm.
didn't you?
I don't know.
You do.
Oh no, there'd be GameCube because the next one I have here, Smash Bros gets a lot more respect in Melee,
Oh, yeah.
and they
So
tell us
actually,
right from the source it's a hit.
oddly enough, this is when I started getting this magazine. It was around the GameCube era. It was very
See, and I
late.
was done by this point.
Now, okay, I think if I'm not wrong, I think this edition came with the music CD. It had like all the Melee music. There was one of these.
I know
wow,
it
that would've been
existed. I
awesome.
think that
It
was
was-
something later.
Okay,
I remember getting it from a Nintendo magazine. But I remember it being incredible.
I think that's something worth talking about because we've been on Nintendo Power for a while.
I have a
Game
few more I
magazines
wanted.
used to come with stuff.
Yeah, I have some
Well,
stuff
yeah,
for
I mean,
that in a bit.
If we get the PC Gamer, we definitely will.
I have some stuff for PC Gamer. Let's go. I have a few more. It's mostly just to make fun of stuff. Are you guys ready for some heresy?
one.
Here's heresy for you.
I'm thinking of a totally different heresy, but sure.
Yes, yeah, different heresy. But
Well.
Yeah, this era was when it was just like, okay, Nintendo
Live
won
and
the war.
learn!
Oh, come on. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was great.
it was. It's just the idea
I'm
of
just saying
Sonic on the
Nintendo
cover of
won.
Nintendo Power.
Ah, yes.
When Sonic showed up in like Mario and Sonic in the Olympic Games, it was just like, okay, this is a sign that Nintendo won.
Yeah.
Well, and when Sonic Adventure 2 Battle came out on the GameCube, I mean, the Dreamcast had basically shuttered its windows at that point.
Yeah.
And that's why they ported it to the GameCube.
It made
Right.
perfect sense. It just still felt wrong to those of us in the console wars of the 90s is all. By the
Well,
way,
I mean, sure. When I saw that game came out on GameCube, I'm like, really? That's interesting.
yeah. Metroid Prime, amazing game. This is a really
You
just
may not like
weird
it,
pose.
but
It's a
Metroid
weird
Prime is
pose,
what
but it's still a
peak
cool looking
Metroid looks like
picture,
to me.
though.
It's really good, and the remake is amazing. Also, there's apparently the Wii was heralding not just motion controls, but apparently the People's Uprising, according to this art right here.
I remember seeing this art.
What?
I wasn't getting the
What?
magazine at this point, but I remember seeing this art.
Also,
Dude,
note
ew.
this is
remember,
when
it was
Oh
the-
goodness!
this
If
was
I
the-
saw that, I don't. Ugh.
I don't think
I
was
would
gonna
not
get by
like
this point
that
either.
at all.
It was the Nintendo Revolution.
yeah,
It
this,
was the Nintendo Revolution, so I guess
Yeah.
in that respect it makes sense. But
and
I still
had it
don't
been
like
the
it.
Revolution,
Oh,
I would have been okay. But they changed it to the Wii, and they're like, "We came, we conquered." You don't get to do that. Not when your name's the Wii. Also,
yeah, exactly. If
you'll
it was still
note-
called Revolution, I'd forgive this cover, but no.
also, you'll
no.
note the logo at the top is they now only have the power is much bigger. They only have the dashes to the right of Nintendo. Even the previous one, you'll notice it's much flatter compared to the older logo, which had the more 3D look. It keeps getting
Didn't
simplified.
I crash your edition of Metroid Prime 3 when I tried
You
to
may
play
have done that, yes.
it? Like in the very opening
And
sequence.
I don't remember how you did it, but you somehow did
I tried
it.
to push buttons in the spaceship. You're like, what did you do?
Also, I just want to say that Nintendo Powers. I mean, look at that. The covers have gotten way weaker. Like a solid
Yeah.
color for a background. Like
Well,
same thing with
this
the
is I
Sonic
think
one. It was just white. This one's yellow. The next one that you've
this
switched
one
through really
right
quickly was
here
also
for the
yellow.
Wii U. It
It
was
was
so
it
weak.
was a minimalist
Oh.
era.
This
Yeah.
is awful.
That's a terrible cover.
Yeah.
This is awful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then here's the final cover that they did. A throwback to the first one. Which it's like, okay, that's good. 25 years ain't bad. And also because
Nice throwback.
I named things wrong. Here's Mega Man X.
What year would this have been?
This is 25 years, so let's see, it's talking about Wii U Review Spectacular, so it's got to be like probably 2015, probably. I'm gonna guess.
Well, and the thing is, they actually did revive Nintendo Power for a little while, just as a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Which-
listen to too many, but
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. And that
I don't
ended
know.
last May, so less than a year
oh,
ago.
that's already done. Wow, that was short.
Well, no, it
I-
was around for a little
I just think
while.
corporate podcasts just don't make sense. Like you leave that to the
No,
fans.
No.
You'd be
And
surprised, actually.
yeah.
I don't listen to them then. I don't know.
So Mega Man X, I thought had a pretty cool cover here. Just,
Yeah.
cool. Super Mario Bros. 3. Again, this is an older one. But again, the claymation. I think they did a good, decent job here.
Well, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. The Angry
yeah, no,
Sun
that one's
looks
classic.
very, very angry. And here's Track and Field 2, which is, I think was designed by the same people who made the Crossfire commercial.
Man, I had that game. I played that too. I played that game like crazy.
Crossfire.
Right, Crossfire or Track and Field 2?
Track and Field 2.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a Track and Field 2 till I found this.
And that's the one that came with like a DDR style dance pad, just about, right?
That was the original one I had.
No, you're thinking World Class Track Meet.
I was gonna
Oh,
say that
right.
you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
your
yeah.
guys.
No, Track and Field 2. I don't know anything about Track and Field 1, but we had Track and Field 2.
You had to co-op your racer.
It was a controller game.
Okay.
I'm just thinking co-op. I can't get co-op out of my head.
All right. Well, that's all I have for Nintendo Power. Let's move to something a little more Gordon speed.
Yes.
Though I want to say Nintendo Power was a fun magazine. Much more fun than the other ones I'm used to are like Game Informers, just because you get them from
Yeah.
GameStop, and those ones are just glorified commercials. Whereas Nintendo Power, it'd have like maps of the stages.
It had comics.
It had comics. I mean, yeah, Nestor. I mean, goodness, one of the ones that I have here has a Star Wars comic in it. For
I
goodness
feel like
sakes.
we've
And
skipped so
posters.
much of what was really cool about Nintendo Power. We've been talking
Yeah.
about the covers, but there's
Yeah.
so much that was great about Nintendo Power.
Well,
I mean,
heck,
it was
that's
actually
where we-
fun to read as a kid, whereas
Yeah.
like the Game Informers, you just want to fall asleep the whole time.
Well, the thing about Nintendo Power, that's where we get the Metroid lore. The Samus
Yeah.
comics
Oh,
that
yeah.
were in there
I
were
loved the Samus comic.
were
Oh, yeah, the
actual
Samus comics
actual
were
comics.
amazing.
Yeah, the Super Metroid comics.
But like that's where we learned about, her being raised by the Chozo.
That's where we learned about the power bomb recharge.
Yeah, the powerbomb recharge. I mean, and also the identity of the dead soldier that's by Kraid's lair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, cool stuff.
No, like Nestor. How do we not talk about Nestor yet?
Yeah, Nestor and Howard.
You mean that guy who had the bowling on the Virtual Boy?
Like, yeah, because Nintendo Power, they had mascots. Like, it was a different time, and just over time, it evolved into something completely different that I missed the origins of it. There was something about those early days of where they were just throwing everything at the wall, seeing what stuck. And there were a few things that did stick. And then, as time went on, the people who fell in love with those original things kind of aged out, and those what's the word I'm thinking of?
I wonder if there's
features,
a
those
buyable.
features aged out too.
I wonder if there's a buyable version of those Metroid comics.
I don't know.
Well, and also, like, if you were actually playing the games that they featured, like, it had, like, tips and hints and codes and...
Yeah.
Back
and,
when you
like,
needed it.
Maps and just everything you could need, like... Part of the reason why the ones I hung on to is because they had some tips for how to solve the Lufia 2 puzzles. Like, that's why I still have them here when I got rid of the rest of my Nintendo Power.
The stupid endless dungeon.
The thing that was like the reason, or not the reason, but when Nintendo Power originated, it was there as like its selling point was it was a guide. It could help you, beat the games that you were having trouble with. Which is, I think, one of the reasons
the source for Nintendo players, straight from the pros.
But I think that's one of the reasons that RPGs were actually featured quite often, because a lot of times in RPGs you needed that kind of help.
Yeah.
But as video games evolved as a medium, they started turning into just catalogs.
Well, that and also
the internet.
I mean, the internet replaced a lot of stuff. For example, like, at the very front of every Nintendo Power, there was a whole page dedicated to fan art that had been sent to Nintendo headquarters. Mm-hmm. Or Nintendo Power headquarters. Well, I mean, it's still in Redmond, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people where they, like, drew on their envelopes.
Yep. Oh, they were so cool.
I mean, I'm just looking at some of the stuff right here. I mean, so good.
I'm just thinking Nintendo really could make some money if they would like re-release those comics as like a collection.
You really want those, don't you?
I do. I would love to have those comics.
Uh-huh. No, that would be cool, like an omnibus of them. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just really interesting because the internet really did change things. I mean, like, people don't go to magazines anymore for tips and tricks. They go to game FAQs.
Yep.
Well, it's one of those things. It's actually one of the.
Well, I mean, in wikis is, I mean, obviously, if you're looking for a specific piece of data, a game wiki's gonna beat the pants out of anything in a magazine. There's just no competition there.
Right. I just miss this era, because now, as soon as a game is even conceived, there's a leak. People know about it. They're talking about it in videos and like all of the external like journalist units, they will pounce on it because they got to get it out first. They got to own. Yeah. And so a periodical like Nintendo Power that actually was originally crafted, you can't come out with that quality in time for it to be relevant.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why on some level, the Shadow Drop has sort of become like filled that gap, because suddenly a game that you didn't even know exist is out now. The most recent example of that was successful, I think, was Hi-Fi Rush. Because it dropped out of nowhere at a fairly cheap price, and so a lot of people gave it a shot, and everyone was like, "Holy crap, this game's really good!" And because no one even knew the game was being made, there was no like nobody knew, like there was no right way to play. Everyone's trying to figure it out. Is very like those old school games.
Yeah. I miss being able to follow like a crafted experience leading up to a game rather than just, let's dissect it. And there was an art to it.
Yeah. And it's in a narrow area. Cause yeah, the internet was always going to change it, because the internet, you know what, ironically, just like, they adopted the phrase temporarily, power to the people, or power to the player. And that's what the internet did. It gave power to the player. And we were the ones filling that void. And we could fill it quicker and more in depth than a crafted experience ever could.
Oh yeah, I mean, like for example, I mean, I just flipping through here, I found a little guide for, some questions on Breath of Fire 2, and I'm reading in a piece of advice, and I'm like, that's bad advice. Yeah, it makes it easier to beat that boss, but then you miss out on all the bonus of beating him the hard way. Oh man, and it would screw you over in the long term big time without the bonus you get from that. So it's like, yeah, you could be much more in depth saying, yeah, totally agree.
It's just hard to beat the mass that is the internet. Cause it is a bunch of monkeys on a typewriter, but it's a lot of monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, yes,
Something is lost.
Going to have better information, but there's something missing about the, having a nice print that's on, nice heavy paper with, high quality printing. Like, I don't know, maybe there'd be a place to kind of have more like art, I don't know.
A boutique experience.
Yeah, something, I don't know, there's something about high quality printing that's just so satisfying that you can't get off of a screen.
Yeah, it's a bygone era, to be sure. All right, PC Gamer. PC Gamer was different because they would give out discs.
See, I got most of my discs from EGM.
Mine came from PC Gamer. Like I went like Master of Magic. I'm looking at that. I'm like, I don't think I played it ever, like the full game. I only ever played the demo, but I remember playing the demo.
I don't even know it.
Sorry, which game?
Master of Magic. It's in the upper right of this one. Okay. That was the disc.
This is the very first issue of PC Gamer that I remember seeing, which I'm surprised by because I think it's only the 5th edition.
Yeah.
The 5th issue.
Yeah, but having stormtroopers on the front's a cheat code to getting noticed.
Well, yeah, very much so.
But like my dad, like I didn't ask for this magazine. My dad subscribed us to it. And
really?
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, Dad, we have to subscribe to this forever.
I have to repeat, our fathers are very, very different. Because my dad would have never subbed to a gaming magazine.
What's ironic is where my dad started is, now he'd probably be the same. He's like, I regret ever getting you into games. So like, well,
That's some toothpaste that ain't going back into the tube.
I mean, Full Throttle. I remember in this edition they did a comparison of chins. That was one of my. I remember thinking it was a great feature. I mean, they compared Mufasa's chin to like Ben what's his name, the main character from Full Throttle, and they had like 4 or 5 like other characters from movies, and it was fantastic. I love this magazine unabashedly.
Great.
Good old Ben what's his name.
So was it done kind of in a fun way like Nintendo Power was, or was it just kind of more off the wall hilarious?
So this my memory of PC Gamer is it geared more adolescent, which Nintendo Power to me felt a little more juvenile.
It was definitely for kids.
This PC Gamer was for
kids.
older people.
PC
And
Gamer was for the PC Master Race folks.
I mean, they had letters to the editor that, sometimes they're talking about stuff that went over my head. Maybe they were using dirty innuendos. I don't even know, right? Like,
Or maybe
Almost.
business.
I mean, I'm sure it had to be fit to print, but
yeah, it was definitely the next step up. Because I mean, this had to deal with things like Doom, and before there was ever a WoW killer, and there was the
that's a good
Doom
point.
killer.
All of the games that couldn't be on Nintendo because it had a very strict, E rating policy.
oh man, where's Brett?
It went on to the PC.
Descent. I remember this one. Oh, Jungle Strike. Hey, that was when you were asking about Nuclear Strike. This is the earlier one in that series.
Gotcha. So, do you guys know? So, Interplay is attempting to outdoom the best game of all time, and they just might do it. Do you know what game they're talking about on this cover?
Descent.
That's Descent, man.
Yep,
Descent's
Descent
awesome.
2.
That's why I asked, like, dang, we need breakfast. He would have gone nuts.
But yeah,
I
this
remember this game. My computer could not handle it.
Yeah, my computer barely could play it
Like,
a slideshow.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Doom was not a 3D game, but this definitely
This-
was.
6
Oh,
degrees
yeah.
of freedom. You
Yeah.
could get turned around. Yeah, it was nuts.
But yeah, I don't know. I just saw this. I'm like, oh right, the Doom killer was a big thing at the time, but no one could beat Doom.
World.
No one could beat Doom because Doom put its code out for everyone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the
My
modding
personal-
community kept that thing alive.
Well, and then each person eventually had their individual Doom killer. Like
Yeah.
mine was Rise of the Triad.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. I thought no one else knew of that game.
That game is
Oh,
so
dude.
violent. Oh my gosh!
Dude,
like,
I've got the remake on Steam.
Oh
I
my
remember
gosh.
Eyeballs would fly around if someone
Yep.
gets crushed by something.
You could write your name in bullet holes on the wall.
Yes.
And that was
'Cause
quite
they
the
wouldn't- they
feature
wouldn't
back in
just
the day.
disappear.
No, that game. But then I think the one that finally toppled it was probably either Quake or Unreal.
Which Quake was
man,
them.
Man.
Quake.
Rise of Triad. I only played it at my friend's house, but I think it certainly lived rent free in my imagination for quite some time.
Mhm.
Oh my
No, see,
gosh.
Rise of the Triad. I knew from one of these discs. I think I got that from
There was
Electronic
another
Games
game
Monthly.
that was kind of like a magical kind of thing. I can't remember what it was called, but you had you would cast spells.
was it?
instead of
Was it Strife?
Hexen.
Hexen. Yes,
Oh, Hexen.
Hexen. Yes. I remember
Hexen
playing that.
64. I remember that.
I think
I remember there were,
Ross's
monsters
Game
that would
Dungeon has done something with that.
And they echo.
No, did y'all ever play? Okay, this is a weird one, but again, it's another one that I play. I played the demo of. I've played it fully since then, but for a long time, it was called Abuse, where you're this robot running around. It was like a platformer, but you aimed with the mouse.
No.
Was
that
this one
game
by
is
Simon
amazing.
Garfield?
No,
Robot Race?
References to Harris memes need to be put on hold for this podcast. I don't want to have
No,
to
it's a-
explain that.
It's a board game. It's a board game.
But it was a platformer. It was on the PC. It was probably the first platformer I ever played on the PC.
like a 3D platformer or
No, it was a 2D
first, 3D?
platformer, but it was mouse and keyboard, and because you aimed with the mouse.
Oh, interesting.
It's out there still.
I
just
noticed
loved
here
it.
in the corner, Magic Carpet. Any of you guys remember Magic Carpet?
I cannot
No.
claim to understand
Oh.
this.
So it was one of the first fully 3D games I played. Descent was one of them, but Magic Carpet, I never understood how the game was supposed to work, but you flew around on a magic carpet and there were flying worms, the Shai Halud, maybe, I don't know. But you flew around magic carpets and you shot fireballs at stuff and you could
Did you have to
collect-
yell
Yeah,
fireball?
the cover, it shows a guy shooting a lightning bolt at a dragon riding a magic carpet.
Serves the dragon right.
That game also ran like a slideshow, but I would.
That sounds,
I would
Apparently, it was on the PS1 as well. Okay.
It sounds like a 90s metal album cover.
Could be. I don't know.
A guy shooting a lightning bolt at a dragon. Yeah, that's totally it.
All right.
All right.
Here's
What do
the
you got?
next one I had. Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri.
Oh,
Dude, I just bought that on Steam just today.
This is when they came with the CD finally, where you could get more than just the one game. Now you could get like, oh man, they would come with like 9 or 10.
Well, yeah, well, because like
Dude,
going
Alpha
back to this
Centauri.
one, dang it, where was it? I had one.
I think the
thought
CDs typically had
yes,
4 or 5.
because this
Is
one,
that it?
like, because this one, it's on a floppy.
On a floppy, and you only have the one.
Yeah, and now it's the CD-ROM edition.
Wow.
We're moving up in technology, folks.
I think Alpha Centauri was the highest rating that PC Gamer ever gave a game.
Well, I think it's
98%.
Isn't it
Wow.
still considered the best Civilization game today?
It depends upon people's opinions. I'm still more
I-
partial to Civ 4.
I think it's really jank, but it's fun. It's definitely fun.
But I do remember when they made Alpha Centauri Beyond Earth, everyone just said, "Oh, it's not as good as
It
Alpha
was
Centauri."
yeah, it was a disappointment.
Wait, did I say Alpha Centauri? Sid Meier's Beyond Earth, that it just
Right.
wasn't as good.
Yeah, it was a Civ 5 reskin, kind of.
Which,
I'm still a Civ 1 OG purist. Although I will give Civ 4 all kinds of props.
getting
I mean, I will
mowed
admit,
down
my
by Gandhi.
Civilization was 1, 2, and then Alpha Centauri.
I
And my
started with
Civ was
3.
Civ 4.
I started at a weird time. I started at 3.
I skipped 3, I think.
Gordon,
even
Gordon's the
know
one
Civ
who
1
introduced me to Civ.
I didn't even know Civ 1 was in color because I didn't have a color monitor.
Monochrome. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, when we got our first color monitor, it was a big day in the Splice household.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, Tomb Raider 2, Monkey Island 3, and Blade Runner.
Monkey Island 3. Now that
Ooh.
takes me back.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do an episode about.
Hold on,
quick
was
adventure
Monkey
games.
Island not Curse of the Monkey Island? I thought that was, or is that Curse?
Monkey Island 3 is Curse of Monkey Island.
Yeah, because that's the one that's like fully like
Animated.
Yes,
That's the cell shaded.
That was actually the first Monkey Island I ever played. So
again,
that's
Dude,
special.
Monkey Island's good stuff. In the
See,
remake where you could switch the graphics back and forth, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, which have you ever heard someone from Britain complaining about one of the puzzles in Monkey Island?
No.
They're like, so
Is it some
apparently
cultural
in
thing?
America, it's called a monkey wrench. We don't call it that. So,
Oh.
I never thought to use the monkey as a spanner.
A spanner's a screwdriver.
I've always known it as a wrench.
I thought a spanner was a screwdriver. Am I wrong on that?
No, I think a spanner it's a wrench that can span different sizes.
Oh, you're right. It is a wrench.
Yeah.
I've always been wrong about that.
But yeah, he's like, I couldn't solve this puzzle because apparently Americans call it a monkey wrench. What I know is a spanner.
That would color your decision making.
So I don't know Nintendo Power as well. Do they do reviews of
Yes.
games in the same?
Yes.
How would they rate them, or would they rate them?
It was a scale of 1 to 10, if I remember correctly.
It sounds right.
Yeah, I can look really
It
quick.
would just be whole numbers.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was always even when I was younger, I understood that there was an inherent weirdness to that, because it's like, well, wait, this is their magazine.
So PC Gamer was really my introduction to reviews and ratings, and so they reviewed everything on a percentile basis. So you could have anything from a 0, which I don't think they even bothered to review any games that were that poor, all the way up to 98, 99%. And like I said, the Alpha Centauri was one of the highest ones, 98. But I always liked their criteria for how they described where each game fell in those ranges. And my favorite being the 70 to 79% range, where they describe that as this is a game that's very either a really niche interest and is good at fulfilling that niche but doesn't have broad appeal, or there's some severe flaws or mistakes made in the execution. For example, it may be the best 7th Cavalry Regiment simulator on the market, but not everyone wants to relive Custer's last stand.
I guess that would be pretty niche.
That's pretty niche, and also not quite politically correct on top of that. And
So, just doing a quick look at my Nintendo Powers. They didn't rate games unless they were rating like, oh, here's the chart of the top 10 games right now.
Or I think from time to time they'd have the writers do like, this is my favorite game in this genre.
Yeah, so
they
it was very rare. When they
releases.
normally featured a game, they did not have a rating of
Not on
this
the game, but they
is-
definitely had rating sections. Like that one I'm 100%
Oh yeah, like
certain
I
of.
said, it's
That's
just a
right.
small section of the whole magazine, and it's not even in every issue.
It's like
Yeah.
the power charts.
Like they'd have the power charts, but that's just a ranking of, oh, this is the number one game
That's like
this
sales.
month, whereas last month this game was rated this. This was the top game, this was the second.
Yeah.
It was just a ranking list.
This was
And
the
like
second
that
most
was
game.
like dominant feature were the reviews.
Right.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, makes sense. PC Gamer wasn't, they weren't the ones selling the games.
They weren't a publisher of games, right? Yeah.
Whereas Nintendo Power, they didn't want to do that because, they want everyone to buy every
want
game if
buy
possible.
all the games. Yes.
Mhm.
I just
And so
remember-
they're
I'm
saying, look how cool all of these games are.
I just remember I was reading a Nintendo Power once, and I don't remember the game. I wish I did. I was definitely in high school. I would occasionally, if we were stuck in the library for some reason, because we didn't have Nintendo Power, I just might read it because it's like, what else am I going to do, right? And so I just remember one time reading through, and there was a review for something, and they gave a game a really bad score. And I'm just like, wow. Because that's a game that advertises with you people. So for it to be a low score and they give you money, that's got to be a really bad game.
Yeah, that's a big oof there for sure.
Like, you give me money, I'm going to look upon you pretty favorably. I like it when people give me money. I have a throw pillow that says that.
Another thing that I'm remembering now, as I think upon my PC gamers, the ads. The ads they have in there are some of like the most 90s stuff that I can imagine.
Yeah.
I tried looking this up. I'm sure I can find it if I worked harder. But I remember there was a full page ad. It was an Intel ad advertising their Pentium, and it had a fighter jet that blew a hole through a big speed limit sign that said 90 megahertz because they blew that speed limit out of the water. And oh my gosh, like nothing could beat that. It'll never be obsolete. This Pentium that can beat the 90 megahertz.
The forever
clock
computer.
I
do. There was something called the forever computer. I'm trying to remember what it was.
That won't go obsolete or something. I think,
or like they would.
I think it was like an e-machine or something like that.
It was something like, I think I saw like LGR do a review of the forever computer or whatever. And
this was also, this mid 90s period, this is when your hardware could be obsolete within a year or two.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Technology was going so fast. I mean, it is really impressive to think just in our lifetimes, and we haven't even been alive for the entire computing era, how much things have grown. Like, compare that to my dad, who, when he was in college, literally was programming with
punch cards.
Yeah, with a punch card. And I just
and it was not something that you had in your room. It
was,
it was something you had in a facility.
And they literally had to debug the computer.
Well, it's the whole Moore's law thing. Every 2 years, the number of transistors doubled.
Yep.
course, now we're getting to the point.
It shrunk smaller in the number of transistors.
That's the
present
fucker
doubled.
jet blowing that 90 megahertz speed limit right out of the water.
We're kind of getting to the upper limit of that, though.
Well, yeah, because we're now at the atomic level.
We're getting down into quantum stuff where suddenly the rules change.
Well, and that's why we've been, making multi-core systems. That's how we've continued that, because then there was the 4-core, the Intel Core made 4-core processors mainstream, and then with Ryzen, 8-core processors are now mainstream. So, yeah, I mean, we've had to do different things. I could talk a long time on that topic, but we probably don't want to go there.
So
Well,
this
Definitely your wheelhouse.
Yes, I'm like, you're talking my wheelhouse, but I don't want to completely take over. But I will give some insight.
That's something that is unique to the PC. Like the hardware was everything. When it comes to like the Nintendo, like everyone had the same hardware for at least guaranteed for a certain period.
Oh yeah.
Or the PC Gamer magazines, I mean, obviously they're always selling you, a sound card, a modem, a video card, or something to like up your hardware somehow.
Well, it's part of the appeal of developing for a console is exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah, because what a nightmare that.
Well, that and also, if you're developing for a console with fixed hardware, you could pull tricks that you cannot do on mystery hardware.
Well,
breakfast
the stop and swap,
the Neo Geo on that.
They would find ways to do things that I forget the specifics of even what game it was, but there was some game on the PlayStation. I want to say it was Crash Bandicoot, where they were doing stuff on it that.
They were deleting as much of the operating system of the PlayStation as possible, then still have the game run to free up space to do more with it.
And I just remember the PlayStation people came to them. They're like, "Hey, how are you doing this? Because we don't think our hardware should be able to do this. So we need to know, like, what are you doing?"
Like, yeah, we kind of hack everything that's in the RAM and overwrite a bunch of stuff, so your firmware's not even running anymore, most of it.
Yeah, well, because I remember that was the whole thing with the stop and swap feature on the N64 that they were planning for Banjo-Tooie. Nintendo got wind of it because it took advantage of basically if you loaded a game and then you put in a different game, it would put different things into the RAM. And so you could do it to do tricks. And so they wanted to do stuff where you would put stuff in and then you would stop and swap back over to Banjo-Kazooie and you could suddenly do stuff in Banjo-Kazooie you couldn't do before as sort of a form of DLC almost. And then Nintendo heard about their plans for it. They're just like, so there's a chance if you do stuff like that, it could brick people's machines. So we're going to request you don't implement that feature.
Oh, is that why it got canned?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Nintendo was like, yeah,
Critical hardware failure would be a good reason.
Yeah, we would like for you, because the thing is, it would be a somewhat rare thing, but, well, okay, I guess anything would be rare with them, but it was, over the scale of all of Nintendo's customer base, they have concerns for some reason.
Well, hey, I'm looking at this cover, 16 demos. Yeah, I swore that they packed that CD pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty, like,
well, so this
full.
I want to talk about this because this was something that they would do semi regularly. I think they do this like once a year. The Ultimate Strategy Guide.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember these covers, and I just remember blew my.
I have a quick correction.
Okay.
There's a few pages in the back of Nintendo Power called the Nintendo Now Playing, where they actually have short reviews. So it's like,
so they do have some reviews.
They have reviews. It's 4 pages long.
Yeah, I
knew
it
10
was
games on it,
and it's like 2 paragraphs
score
max.
From 1 to 5, score goes up to 5, and you can have 10th the 10th digit. So 3.5, 4.0, yeah.
But a pretty small section, it sounds.
It's a very, very small section at the very back.
And buried in the back. So yeah, this is
Buried-
not.
Well, okay,
not
in
the way
the
that PC
episode,
Gamer features
okay,
them, yeah.
go through that copy you have right there. Get us the highest and lowest score from this. This is important.
All right. So the lowest score I see is it's got 4 different ratings. Graphics, sound, play, challenge, theme. 1.5, 3.5, 3.3, 2.5 is the lowest score on there.
Out of 10?
Out of 5.
Oh, okay.
And the highest score I see is Donkey Kong Country 3, which is 4.5, 4.2, 4.2, 3.5.
No, that makes sense.
Followed by Wave Race 64, the next highest.
Told you, man. They love themselves some Wave Race 64.
Underrated.
Oh, and Super Star Wars actually got
But
got a pretty good score.
Like I'm thinking like the one that came out for the SNES?
Yeah,
was
for the
before?
SNES.
Yeah, that
Oh,
came out
wow.
pretty late in the
Super Star
SNES's
Wars was
life.
Great.
Oh, I loved Super Star Wars.
Ah, man, I got so tired of that sandcrawler level, man. Like
I love that's
Speaking
another
of which,
episode we need
okay.
to do. Infamous levels.
Speaking of which, looking at this magazine, you know what else is in here, Pirate? That's that they reviewed and gave a score to SimCity 2000.
oh, on the SNES?
Yeah, and it's right in the middle. 3.1, 2.5, 3.9, 3.9, so pretty good. But the downside, I got to read this to you because it's too good. So, on the downside, no Super NES mouse option, no free terrain editing, poor English translation.
Okay, it was a Japanese port? Like, wow.
I'm like, wait, poor English translation. That game was made in
It was
English. What are you
made in
talking
California.
about?
What they mean is a poor American translation.
It was made in California.
Yeah, it was made in California.
That's where Max's. I mean, like the PC game. I mean, the guys who made the Japanese. I mean,
So what I'm
Nintendo
hearing
version
is
probably
you
was
don't think they
Japanese.
know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'd say that unless it was, I don't know, unless they
Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know the word reticulating or spline, and they think it's some sort of foreign word.
I mean, they had to have made like some serious changes anyway. I mean, like it's definitely designed for mouse and keyboard, and saying it doesn't even support the mouse that the Super Nintendo had. I can't imagine that.
Yeah,
Can't be very fun.
I don't know how they made games like that and like StarCraft 64.
Yeah, StarCraft 64. Oh my gosh.
Hold up. What?
You don't know?
I knew this.
You've
Yes.
never heard of StarCraft 64?
Awful.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
expecting. The only thing I was waiting for was stuff.
Stukov,
Interesting.
because that's where you find out Stukov got converted by the Zerg.
But like, wow. Wow.
Wait, so there actually
No,
was
that's
like unique stuff to StarCraft 64?
Yeah,
I
just
had no idea.
Doom 64 had its own completely different lore.
We hated StarCraft 64 so bad we didn't actually try and
Well, it's not it's like trying to, paint with clay. It doesn't you're using the wrong material.
Like, why isn't there a
Yes.
StarCraft 64 tournament? Oh my gosh, imagine.
That sounds like a condition we would
How
put on
many-
our college roommate.
Like, how many APM can you pull out of StarCraft 64?
Like, you have
using
to
a
pull-
Mad Catz controller.
You have to play with a you have to play with an N64 controller.
My gosh.
And there's still some
horror.
Gosu Korean who probably will destroy every single one of us
there's
together.
Someone who can figure it out, but still.
Wait, Neil Gaiman wrote an essay for SimCity 2000? That's hilarious. Okay.
Oh, yeah. If you click on the library, there is an option to ruminate.
That's funny.
And that tracks. I remember it. I remember being kind of like really like dense prose and over my head at the time. But Neil Gaiman having written it tracks.
Yeah.
Okay, there I have it at the very beginning. I had one more PC gamer. So if you guys have other things you want to look at, send it to me via Discord and I can pull it up. But Warcraft is back. This cover just tickles me so much. Blizzard's Orcs and Humans return in the amazing Warcraft adventure, and we got it first.
I'm not seeing it on the.
I'm
not?
getting
Yeah,
a
my-
spinning wheel on YouTube.
Yeah,
too.
my
Oh, no.
buffering is buffering.
Oh dear, yeah, I'm down to 0. And I'm back. That was no, and I'm
Okay,
down
it
again.
got
Are you
blurry,
dropping frames?